Cedarwood Luxury Radio, Nigeria's first real estate radio. This is Cedarwood Luxury Radio, Nigeria's first real estate radio.
Hello, wonderful smart investors. I am here again at Lush City by Cedarwood, here in the city of Aba, just 5 minutes off the Osisioma, popular Osisioma flyover. You can be this. Let me shock you now. This particular estate is just behind the Abia Polytechnic permanent site. If you are a wise investor, you will secure many plots here in Lush City because of the reason that when this school kicks off, students will look for a place to reside and lecturers will also look for apartments to stay. So this estate is also directly opposite Arab Construction Company at this Aba Owerri Express Road. You can be this. From here to Osisioma flyover is less than 5 minutes. So guys, what are you waiting for? This estate is closed for just 4.5 million naira. This is a promo price, but I bet you'll be wowed because in a few weeks we are going to take this estate back to its main price, which is 6 million naira. Why not get a plot right now that is 4.5 million naira? As you can see, this is a wonderful, magnificent estate gatehouse. The property has been fenced right round already. It's 100% table dry land, and this buy and build. So as a wise investor, I will advise you rush and grab a plot right here at Lush City by Cedarwood immediately. Do you know why? Because the school is actually going to kick off very, very soon, and students are looking for places to reside. As a wise investor, secure a plot now that is still on promo. Just 4.5 million naira. A plot of 464 square meters is yours. The estate is already fenced, and this is a gatehouse, and it has been plot demarcated. We give instant allocation immediately after your payment. So guys, so what are you waiting for? Hit me now. Let's close this here.
Hello, everyone. My name is David, Programs and Broadcast Coordinator for Cedarwood Luxury Online Radio. Would you love to feature on any of the Cedarwood Luxury Online Radio program? Do well to reach out to us via the number right there on the screen, irrespective of who you are, what you are, where you are, and what you do. The Cedarwood Luxury Online platform is available and open to every one of you out there. So if you love to feature on any of our Cedarwood Luxury Online Radio programs, do well to reach out to us via the WhatsApp number right there on the screen, and boom, you'll be in the studio to speak with us. Do well.
It's a good afternoon and a good time to bring to you the latest trends and happenings in the real estate industry. Beautiful Monday afternoon, 7 minutes past the hour of 1. Welcome, Lagos, Nigeria, to Nigeria's first real estate radio, Cedarwood Luxury Online Radio. My name is David, and it is such a delight to come your way again, and this time around to bring to you news stories in the real estate industry. Come with me this afternoon as I take you through a journey of news stories, latest trends and happenings in the real estate industry. We'll begin quickly with the very first story for this afternoon. It says regulators endorse ministerial committee agenda to end building collapse. A high level of meeting of regulatory bodies in the built environment has met with the Ministerial Committee on Building Collapse and agreed on a 5-point agenda that would bring sanity to the country's construction industry. The engagement marks a significant step forward in the ministry's ongoing efforts to enhance the safety and integrity of Nigeria's built environment, ensuring that the target loss of lives and property due to building collapse becomes a thing of the past. The meeting, chaired by the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, had in attendance leadership of regulatory bodies such as the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria, Town Planners Registration Council, Architects Registration Council of Nigeria, Estate Surveyors and Valuers Registration Board of Nigeria, Quantity Surveyors Registration Board of Nigeria, Surveyors Council of Nigeria, and other vital stakeholders. Among the recommendations was the creation of a robust legal framework requiring developers to reduce essential production information documents such as the project quality management plan, construction program, and project health and safety plan. They also recommended the reconstitution of the National Building Code advisory, which is tasked with advancing the legal framework of the National Building Code through the National Assembly. The meeting also brought a comprehensive review of acts establishing ARCON, Carbon, and TOPREC to enhance their effectiveness in curbing quackery and other unprofessional practices. On property news this afternoon, concerns over compensation rates for land acquisition. The inadequacy of current compensation and acquisition practice has continued to generate concerns among practitioners because of the instability to account for losses incurred by project affected persons, while advocating reforms in the compulsory acquisition process that guarantees transparency and prompt payment. They want the government to balance development needs with human dignity and social justice. There is uneasy calm in the construction and real estate sector following agitations to reform and establish equitable compensation rates for land acquisition in the country. The demand for the review of laws establishing the compensation for land acquired for public purposes have been reoccurring as the various legislation governing compensation payments are not always in alignment. The Constitution provides for the payment of compensation where property is required for public purposes. The Petroleum and Mineral Act also provides for compensation where land is required for activities related to petroleum projects and adopts a market approach in the assessment of compensation. However, the Land Use Act (LUA) is the most problematic in that it vests ownership of all land in the state through the governor, which is contrary to the reality in most communities where the people believe they have absolute ownership. The Act prescribes a method of assessment of the quantum of compensation through the depreciated replacement approach that ignores the value of land since the land belongs to the state, which has led to inadequate compensation. Experts are seeking the introduction of a new framework for assessing the value of crops and economic trees, which are not regularly traded commodities like houses. They said most of the figures derived from the rates prescribed by the land officers of the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development are absolute and need to be updated. Still on property news this afternoon, we'll bring to you the next story this beautiful Monday afternoon. Facilities managers should focus on sustainable buildings. With Africa projected to be the most urbanized by 2050, experts have tasked facility managers to shift focus towards sustainable buildings and urban facility management in the cities. They highlighted the crucial role of facility managers in enhancing sustainability in African cities, noting that the buildings are significant consumers for resources and contributors to waste generation. As 1/3 of the world's waste comes from buildings, while 100 million tons of raw materials are used in construction globally. Group Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of GPFI Group, Dr. Mohammed Balogun, who led the charge at the International Facility Management Association IFMA Africa Conference in Accra, Ghana, said to drive sustainable change in buildings and cities, facilities managers should prioritize actions such as reducing consumption in all forms, embrace a zero-waste approach, and implement urban sustainable facility management. According to him, 39% of global carbon emissions are related to energy consumption in buildings. Speaking on the theme, Africa's Sustainable Cities, Role of Facility Managers, he said FMs in the continent focus only on a small part of cities and buildings, whereas activities in the urban center will have a major impact on how buildings function, development, and operations in the cities. All right, I'm still on property news this afternoon. Bruno Yobe moved towards desertification environmental degradation. Borno and Yobe state governments have commenced the planning of 10 million trees seedlings in each of the states as part of efforts to reduce desertification and environmental degradation. According to the National Agency of the Great Green Wall, 10 communities in Yobe have been targeted in the local council areas of the Maturu, Gedam, Yusufari, Yunusari, Karasua, Nangere, and Machina. GGW Director General Sela Abubakar, who disclosed launching the tree seedlings campaign in the Maturu, said the yearly tree planting will avert desertification and desertification from further spread to other local councils in the state. Abubakar, represented by the Kano Director of Operations Aminu Isa, said that the 19 northern states have already been affected by desertification that spreads southward at 600 meters each year. According to him, the desertification affected communities comprise Karasua, Jamaturu, Jakosko, Kalalawa, Magiwa, and the Dangona Forest Reserve. He therefore urged the affected communities to nurture tree planting seedlings to maturity by providing windbreaks across the desert. Badagry Master Plan will align with best practices, says Lagos official. The Lagos State government has emphasized that the review of the Badagry Sub-Region Master Plan is in line with the amended State Urban and Regional Planning and Development Law International Best Practices. The reviewed sub-region master plan has, among others, identified industrial hubs in the Badagry division of the state and stipulates the review of development plans every 5 years. Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Dr. Oluyinka Olumide, who stated this at the presentation of the reviewed plan to stakeholders in Ojo and the Badagry sub-region endowments and prospects for impactful physical development, brought about greater requirements for infrastructure and necessitated the review. Also speaking, Permanent Secretary Office of the Physical Planning, Oluwole Sotire, said the review will develop a coherent planning strategy to developments guide future physical and transform the sub-region into a dynamic and sustainable community where people can live, work, play, and prosper. Sotire observed that the process of reviewing the plan was with the final stakeholders meeting and validation process having gone through other layers of public participation. On his part, Dr. Wale Alade of Vista Plan Consulting, who presented the highlights of the plan, assured that the review will improve the living conditions in the area. Still on property news this afternoon, developer seeks enhanced land documentation process. Lagos-based real estate firm MESSRS Just Point Nigeria Limited has employed federal and state government to simplify the land documentation process towards enhancing housing construction and home ownership across the country. The firm's managing director, Dr. Ebenezer Akinride, made the call during an interaction with journalists in Lagos. According to him, the process of getting land documented is cumbersome and time-consuming, adding that the development impedes investment in real estate sector. He said the government should consider special funds for operations and provide grants for would-be investors in to encourage more developers to embark on real estate development and solve housing shortfalls. The firm also charged Nigerians to take advantage of its housing projects in Lagos, Ogun, and Oyo State. He also advised developers to ensure property offerings are documented for transparency and confidence in the sector. Akirinde wants Nigerians, investors, and developers to ascertain the state of land before investing, explaining that the status of land will reveal the plans of the government on any particular land, either for residential, commercial, industrial, or agriculture. He urged prospective homeowners to invest in real estate, irrespective of the economic challenges Nigerians might be facing now. The best thing is to invest in landed property because real estate appreciates daily, he said. Let's quickly bring to you some stories from the real estate stories. All right. Real estate operators groan over spike in electricity costs. The commercial real estate market is facing significant challenges such as high interest rates, economic slowdown, and the lasting effect of the COVID-19 pandemic, which have created a precarious environment. But the situation is exacerbated by the surge in electricity bills, rising costs of power facilities, as well as growing vacancies and declining property values, particularly in secondary office markets. The operatives are lamenting that with the categorization of energy consumption into fader bands A, B, and C, others, commercial utility bills have tripled, becoming high and negatively impacting overall operation costs. Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission NERC recently approved the classification of electricity consumers to fader bands A, B, C, D, and E. Consequently, the consumers on band A recorded a sharp increase in electricity tariffs from 68 naira per kilowatt to 225 naira per kilowatt, representing a 240% increase, which is described as unaffordable, especially for businesses. It was later reviewed from 225 per kilowatt to 206 naira 206.8 naira per kilowatt, from 206.80 to 209.50 per kilowatt. In the schedule, the band A customers are supposed to receive 20 to 24 hours of electricity supply daily. Band B subscribers enjoy 16 to 20 hours of power supply, while those in Band C receive 12 to 6 hours daily. Band D subscribers benefit from 8 to 12 hours of power supply each day, and Band E subscribers only receive 4 to 8 hours of electricity supply daily. However, the most recent increase does not affect Band B, C, D, and E. Electricity consumption per unit in most retail outlets ranges from 393 to 457 per kilowatt. And still on real estate news, FG2 reform agencies build 20,000 houses yearly. The federal government has announced plans to reduce the housing supply through the construction of at least 20,000 housing units yearly. The government has also recommended the implementation of reforms and initiatives that will rewrite the housing and urban landscape, such as the establishment of a national social fund to ensure access to decent housing for low and no income earners, on underprivileged and IDPs, internally displaced persons. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, who spoke at the 2024 Yearly Registered Quantity Surveyors Assembly organized by the Quantity Surveyors Registration Board of Nigeria in Abuja, said government is rapidly reforming the federal housing institutions like the Federal Housing Authority, Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, and the Office of the Surveyor General of the Federation to enhance their efficiency and capacity. Dangiwa said that the country is facing a dual challenge of inadequate housing supply to meet population growth and substandard housing, which does not meet the conditions of hospitality, safety and security, comfort, sanitation, accessibility, infrastructure, social amenities, and social-cultural adequacy as set out by UN and World Health Organization. The minister observed that a land reforms tax team had been established to develop a blueprint that would aid the sustainable implementation of much needed reforms necessary for streamlining land administration and ensuring easy, cost-effective, and efficient access in Nigeria. According to him, the tax team is to develop a robust framework for ensuring that housing agencies under the supervision of the ministry are optimized to develop efficiency on the government's vision for the provision of quality, decent, and affordable homes to Nigerians. If you just joined, this is Nigeria's first real estate radio, and this program is a program that brings to you the latest trends and happenings in the real estate industry. We've delivered to you stories from urban development to property, and now we are bringing you stories from the real estate sector. Of course, the real estate market trend covers stories ranging from real estate, property, urban development, mortgage finance as well. And that is why it is called the real estate market trends. All right, we'll take our very next story on the real estate segment this afternoon. Minister tags FMBN FHA on innovations performance. The federal government has called on the leadership of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria and Federal Housing Authority to be more innovative in providing homes to the masses. Minister of Housing and Urban Development Ahmed Dangiwa, who made the call during the review meeting with the management teams of the agency in Abuja, said it was aimed at enhancing performance in the execution of the ministry's agenda as it relates to its deliveries in line with the contract agreement. He stated that the two agencies could help deliver millions of housing units in the next 50 years as against the 50,000 it has provided over the past 50 years, stressing come up with innovative ideas and explore avenues to source funds to enhance performance. The minister therefore warned that lack of funds would not be an excuse for FHA not to meet up on its ministerial deliverables, advising that they visit FMBN and leverage interagency collaboration for construction loans. Similarly, agencies should go to the capital market, issue bonds, and raise funds to deliver mass housing projects nationwide, as well as market the houses, thereafter repay the loans and also declare profit. This requires a new mindset, thinking outside the box, he added. All right, before we bring to you our very last story for this afternoon, we'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll bring you our very last story, and then we'll call it a day on the real estate market trend this afternoon. All right, you're very much welcome back on the real estate market trend this afternoon. All right, this very story here says FG to offer Bauchi housing scheme to Air Force officers. The federal government plans to provide affordable housing for men and officers of the Nigerian Air Force and all classes of Nigerians within the low, middle, and high-level income levels. To this end, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development is preparing to offer its estate in Bauchi State to the Nigerian Air Force at a discounted rate and on installment payments. The Minister, Ahmed Dangiwa, dropped the hint when the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Bala Abubakar, led a delegation of key officers on a courtesy visit to the ministry in Abuja. Dangiwa also assured the NAF of the readiness of the ministry to provide housing units to its personnel under the National Housing Program at subsidized rates so that they can be comfortable providing security and protecting Nigerian sovereignty. He said, "We recognize the importance of providing suitable housing for men and officers of the Nigerian Air Force. We assure them of our commitment to meeting the needs of the Air Force. The leadership of the ministry has provided various options to enable Nigerians to become homeowners as the estate program launched at Kasana, Abuja." The minister further stated that the government is providing 50,000 affordable housing nationwide under the NHP Phase 1, which has started in 13 locations, and Abuja, which consists of 3,112 units. Options are available to potential buyers, he said, include outright rent to rent-own, installment and mortgage loans with a single-digit interest payable under 30 years. Earlier, the Chief of Air Staff, while commending the minister for the achievements recorded under his leadership, said they were in the ministry to seek collaboration on providing affordable houses for their personnel, covering both the officers in service and post-service. He also appealed that the NPH in Bauchi be given to Nigeria Air Force free or sold to them at a discounted rate with friendly payment terms, adding that acquiring it would go a long way to enhance the operational readiness of the force. We would collaborate with the ministry to engage the NAF Housing and Construction Company Limited in the ongoing construction of the cities and estate projects, he added. And our very last story this afternoon, Housing Reforms Coalition's urge to stabilize urban rental markets. A new research has reiterated the need for Housing Reform Coalition to focus on addressing governance and institutional coordination within the public sector, stabilization and support for urban and rental markets, and tackling intersectional challenges in the building and construction sector. These issues emerge as critical for the transformation of housing production systems and, by extension, human settlements, for driving the achievement of housing justice for marginalized communities. The housing domain research was carried out in 7 African cities, including Lagos. Others are Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Accra, Ghana, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, Freetown, Sierra Leone, Lilongwe, Malawi, and Nairobi, Kenya. The recommendation was part of a working paper written by the African Cities Research Consortium, Housing Domain Team, Miriam Maina, Zana Hadiz, Weldi Habril, Alexandra Aspan Faradini, and Ola Uduku. ACRC is funded by UK International Development, and the Lagos Housing Domain lead was Dr. Basirat Ayawale. The research aimed to gaps in the understanding of housing in Africa by examining the power relations and the asperities that shape the housing sector. The project builds on existing research, which highlights the impact of persistent inequalities within the housing sector, and which has led to social, spatial, and economic resilience. The report's analysis of housing production ecosystem in African cities was rooted in the global commitment to the right to adequate housing and sustainable urban development. All right, that is all we have for you this afternoon on the real estate market trend. Do well to join us again at 4 p.m. and do have yourself a wonderful Monday afternoon.
This estate is very beautiful, very nice. I have good news for you. In this city of Owerri, we have very affordable land that is currently selling. This is a new estate in the city of Owerri. Guess what? This is Cedarwood City Estate, Phase 2, Obako Owerri. This estate is very sweet. Opposite our estate is Road Safety Office. That's opposite our estate. Our neighbor here is Lubos Manufacturing Company. You know what it means? Manufacturing company, they have many workers. They have up to 700 workers. I know what it means. Looking for houses to rent. You want to live somewhere close to their working place. So what it means that you need to buy this land, build and rent it out to people. But this place is buy and build. It's selling with a promo price of 5.5 million naira. Just 5.5. You'll be a landowner in this estate. And it's a stable dry land. It's trekkable from here to Obako Junction. And it's facing Onitsha Express Road. From here, you see the vehicle moving, passing. Freehold is the land title of this Cedarwood City Phase 2. So, if you're an investor and you're looking for a place to invest in the city of Owerri, Obako is here for you. Cedarwood City Estate, Owerri Phase 2, Obako is here for you. You need to be a landowner in this wonderful place. And Obako is fast developing. Many people are really moving to Obako. It's a perfect place for you to invest. Clearing has begun in this estate. We are really clearing the place because very soon we'll start perimeter fencing and gatehouse in this estate. As you can see, Caterpillar is there working. It's already working. So what you need to do is you rush to this estate and acquire your own property. 1 days from now, we are going to start our plot demarcation in this estate. So if you're looking for a point and kill estate in the city of Owerri, this estate is here for you. I remember my humble self, Emmanuel Madriki, BDM of P1 Plus Owerri, in charge of this beautiful estate. Remember, we are here to serve you.